Okay, I'm back already. Anyways, I just want to give more examples. Like with school, for example, children, they shouldn't be like forced into an institution and indoctrinated all day. If you look at the society, that has not really panned out well. It hasn't worked. Everyone's depressed. People aren't learning any skills, all that stuff. I had read these books, these Anastasia books, like 12 years ago. And basically, I think they had a really good concept, which what you do is like you meet your child, you hang out with them, and you see they are more inclined to. So if your child is like right into the garden, start doing that. Like start giving them the materials and the information they need in that area so they could become permaculture, they could become a horticulture, just a good gardener, stuff like that. So obviously we'll all need the three R's, the reading, writing, and arithmetic, right? We're going to need those skills for everything. But anything on top of that is just indoctrination. So if your child, for example, they like building stuff, well, instead of forcing them to learn about fake history or whatever, we could provide them with materials that'll help them become a great carpenter or whatever it is their skills are. If they are right into like airplanes, well, maybe they could start learning about airplanes, or if they like engines, they could start learning about building engines and mainly put them focused towards their natural talents. Because after you learn basic math, no one has used most of our what's it called, trigonometry and all that stuff. Like literally, when they started bringing in algebra, and which I've never used, I wanted to jump off a bridge. Like I was just like, I cannot do this. I had to go to summer school every year, and I still couldn't get it. And all that did was waste my time, waste my talents. Could had nothing to do with my natural talents, which I will also get into next. My natural talents, for example, were painting and music. I could sit down on any keyboard or any instrument and I could just play any commercial I just heard off the TV. I could play anything, just play it by ear, right? Which comes into the mercury poisoning. The reason why you can't prove the damage from getting mercury injected into you is because most people are a baby and they don't remember the change. A lot of parents will go, my child was talking, they were happy, blah, 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 or they were alert and very communicative, and then they got a jab or whatever, and then they were a completely different child. Well, when I got my mercury poisoning, like I had had a really high IQ. Then I got my mercury poisoning from fillings at the dentist. And I noticed the difference. I was aware. I was 13 years old or whatever. I remember what happened. I remember exactly going through the change, the fog. I was like, what is going on here? This is terrible. And sure enough, I stopped painting. I couldn't play by ear anymore. I couldn't learn music very well. I could still sing and read and stuff like that. Like I wasn't totally, completely um, disabled from that, but I had a super high IQ before that, and then it went down after that. It went down to like 169, which is still high, I know. And now, like if I'm drunk, it's down to 140. If I have a hangover, it goes down to 118 or whatever. But because the mercury poisoning, all my natural talents, they just got sucked out of me. And a lot of chelation therapy in my adult life, once I learned what to do about it, I got all my fillings out and I started doing chelation therapy. So you take chlorophyll and things like that. So it really is damaging to your natural talents and it gives you brain fog and depression. All these things happen From A, what I started the video off with was the indoctrination, and then B, putting mercury into your body. Why would you put something that's so toxic you have to wear a hazmat suit to handle it, but then you're going to put it directly into your mouth or inject it into your body? That just makes no sense. So this was just another thing that just jumped into my mind that I thought I better address right away. So for schools, there was Anastasia books was what I read, and it really makes sense. Like, see what your child's talents are, because this indoctrination prison for your children is basically, if you don't send your kids to where you're told for 8 hours a day to learn a bunch of stuff they're not even learning because they don't care about it, it's wasting their talents, it's wasting their time. And also they hold this threat over your head that my way or the highway from the government. Like, if you don't do it their way, they threaten to take your child away. That is absolutely sinister. And society, like the frog in boiling water, society has slowly come to accept that. And, we got to do a U-turn here, guys. You should not have such a terror in your heart that your child is being threatened to take away because they don't understand uh, politics or social studies or whatever they're learning in school, and they don't want to go, and this chain reaction happens, whatever, or they get bullied, or really, when kids go to school, you know who they're learning from? They're mostly learning habits from other kids. So they're not learning how to be an adult unless they're around you for 8 hours a day. They're learning how to be other kids. So you can see that reflected in society. But anyways, I've been rambling on. I hope I made some good points. I've been rambling on for almost 7 minutes. But yeah, so I'm just trying to open some minds and then see as a society where we can brainstorm together and set up a new way of doing things together as a society that is not so damaging to our youth and to us. Because face it, the like what Whitney Houston said, the children are our future, and you can see that the last 20, 30 years has not made a good future for anyone. We are not in a good future. We are literally living in hell on earth right now, and that is the result of being forced to do things other people's way instead of following our intuition. Our intuition is our inner teaching from God, intuition, or universe, or the energy, creative energy, whatever you want to call it. So we need to be running more on intuition and not being dictated from outside forces that don't care about us. This society is the result of that, and it cannot go on. It is headed off a cliff. Anyways, I will see what pops in my head next, and that's it for this video.